1 year ago, we left Canada with 3 kids, 3 cats, 10 suitcases, 2 carry-ons, a 20-foot shipping container, and a dream. We said goodbye to our family, friends, careers, our country. We had no concrete plan, just a belief that something better was out there, something warmer, freer, more grounded. That place for us was El Salvador. We thought we were coming for sunshine and freedom, but what we found was so much more. This is the story of our first year in El Salvador, the raw truth, the beauty, and the tears, and everything else in between. And if you're wondering how much it costs us to live here for a year, as a family of 5, well, we'll share every dollar with you in this video. Buenas tardes, mis amigos, y bendiciones para todos ustedes. Good afternoon, my friends, and blessings to you all. My name is Charity Hagenaars, and bienvenido a mi canal if you are new here, and bienvenido de nuevo if we're already old amigos. I want to give a big shout out to Rudy and his family in Australia. Rudy is from here and he's moving back with his whole family in the new year. And if you're interested in being part of our WhatsApp group where we discuss all things El Salvador, please send me an email at youtube@hagenaars.com with your WhatsApp phone number and we'll add you to the list. Also, we hang out every Monday night on Google Meets. Check the description below for the link to that meeting and add it to your calendar. Just hang out with us, chill, talk about whatever on Monday nights. Why we moved here. The question everyone always asks us is, why on earth would you leave an amazing first world country like Canada and move to a third world country like El Salvador? You're crazy. Well, the crazy thing is that people still think that Canada is some great country. It was 30 years ago, not today. Today, Canada has a serious drug problem thanks to the Trudeau government legalizing marijuana. And then they created these safe injection sites where they give people hard drugs like crack, cocaine, fentanyl, and people get stoned in a safe place. The only thing I guess that is safe about that is that they have the means to bring you back to life if you have a drug overdose. This is not the future I want from our children. And then let's talk about crime. Violent crimes are on the rise, and home invasions and car thefts are just through the roof. The police chief in Toronto told people to leave their key fobs near the door so that when the car thieves come to break in your house in the middle of the night, they quickly find your keys and they don't have to go wandering through your home to find you and your wife in bed. And who knows what could happen then. Also, Canada has a serious homeless problem with tent cities all over the place, even in small towns now. No place is exempt from this. And let's talk about the agenda. What agenda, you might be asking? Well, the woke agenda, of course. They want all your kids to be thoroughly confused about gender. They want to convince your girls to go chop off their breasts and pretend they're boys, or for boys to have breast augmentation surgery to become girls. You cannot change your gender. You can only mutilate your body and go completely sterile with the hormones that they give you. No thanks. My kids know who God made them to be, and they don't need confusion in their lives. Not to mention all the people parading around in kink and fetish or complete nudity in the streets of the cities in Canada, calling it pride. Well, the Bible says that pride comes before the fall, and Canada sure is collapsing. And let's not forget about the rising cost of living. How could we forget that? Canada has become completely unaffordable to live in, from fuel and energy costs to mortgages, utilities, and groceries. You need 2 incomes making 6 figures to survive in Canada. It is super expensive to raise a family there. Unless you're just a couple single people, that's fine. Once you have kids, different topic. And let's not forget about taxes. Canadians are one of the highest tax nations in the free world. There is governmental corruption in Canada. Canadian politicians are ruled by the mob and the mafia. There's also cold and snow in Canada. There's a weak education system, horrible healthcare system where they're constantly offering you medical assistance in dying instead of treatment for the illness you came in with. And there's wokeness and DEI at every turn. And the country is so divided on everything since COVID. It just isn't a nice place to live anymore. You protest against the government for taking away your freedom, go to jail on charges of mischief. But if you rape and murder someone, you're free to walk in society. It is a totally morally backwards country. And don't forget, if you say things the government doesn't like, they can freeze your bank accounts, fine you, or put you under house arrest. Whatever they want. You have no rights in Canada. You are just a slave working on a tax farm. So why El Salvador? We knew we couldn't stay in Canada, but everyone in this situation always asks, where do you go? For some reason, people think that every country is in the same situation. That is partly true. If you're part of a Western country, then you're right. You're all run by the same World Economic Forum. But there are others to consider. Even in the Eastern countries, I know families that have gone to Russia, which is very pro-family, and others like us taking the Central American route. We looked at going to the USA, to Europe, to Panama, Nicaragua, and then we heard about El Salvador. And when I say heard about it, I'm not positive that I knew El Salvador was a country until somebody said, hey, what about El Salvador? And they mentioned it because of Bukele and Bitcoin. But I also knew next to nothing about Bitcoin, but at least I knew it existed. Now, setting up a new life and starting over in a new country is bound to have a few challenges. We chose to move most of our belongings in a 20-foot shipping container. That's not for everybody. But the rest of it came in suitcases, the 12 suitcases we came with, and our 5 backpacks. My husband since brought back 7 more suitcases, and of course, our 3 cats. Many people just advise us sell everything and just start over again here. But you can't find everything here, like our freeze dryer, or we had some sentimental items of furniture and different things we wanted to bring with us. And we also just wanted to bring a bunch of kids' stuff to donate to one of the orphanages here. If you're curious about bringing a shipping container to this country, you need to watch this video. And if you want to know what you need to travel here with pets, also watch this other video. We did have to purchase a lot of stuff to start over. So I want to break down some of those costs with you here. Let's start with our 12-month expenses. If you've been watching any of these videos, you know that every month I go and I do this 1-month breakdown, basically starting from the 20th of the month before to the 20th of the month now. Yesterday was August 20th. That was our 1-year anniversary for living in this country. And I only started these videos around month 3, and they weren't really precise in month 3, but I got really precise after that. So let's just go through month 12. And then I'll put everything together for the whole year. So rent and security, that's $850 because we just moved and it's more expensive, plus the $35 for the maintenance or the security. And for electricity, I have $91.06. Water's $239. Drinking water, that's about $55 approximately. Cooking gas was $12 this past month. I had to get a new tank. Our internet's $32.98. For cell phone, it was a little bit more this month for a couple of strange reasons, but one was that DJ was back here, so I had to get another $12 plan for him and Willem and Annika, and I have a $15 plan. But where we moved here on the 2nd floor, the Wi-Fi signal was not very strong. My computer had it fine, but I didn't realize my phone was using some of my data, so I ran out. We now have since purchased a router, which you'll see in our household expenses. So that problem's solved now, but in the meantime, I had to spend some more money to get data. So that was $9.10 extra for that few top-ups of data I got. For groceries, it was $968.54. It was a big PriceSmart trip and a meat order at the La Despensa Don Juan, I think it's called, and our fruits and vegetables. For school, it's $71.35. That's $67.50 for the buses. And I got this app called Twinkle to teach English with the kids at school. Eating out was really expensive. Don't panic. $580.95. The first week we were here, I didn't have the gas hooked up in the stove, and I'm also feeding our painter and the housekeeper. So I just thought it was pretty easy to order some food from the lady in the community here who makes lunches for $3.50. So that made a lot easier. Plus, until we bought our big grocery orders, I didn't actually have that many things to cook with. For entertainment, $16.71. That's Amazon Prime channel and Netflix that I have subscriptions to. Household goods, yes, very expensive, $2,022.26. $700 of that is for the paint and supplies, caulking, tape, etc. $290 of that is to actually pay the painter for his labor. $142.50, that was for our housekeeper. She came half a day the day that we moved. And then she quit unexpectedly on me on the 11th because she actually wanted more money. So now she charges me $30 a week. $20 for the new router, like I mentioned. I bought shower curtains, toaster oven. I put a deposit down on some loft beds I got for Annika and Lauren, so that's $310. I got some Temu orders. The moving company, that was $160. There's probably other stuff I'm forgetting, but that's why it was so high this month. Transportation is $163.01. That's 3 fill-ups for 2 cars, and more on that in another video to come. Medical is $258.09. That's $40 for Willem's braces, my medicine, and an in-person private doctor visit as well as a virtual visit. More to come on next week's video about those. Be sure to watch those. Pets, $46. I got Black Beauty fixed and we got blood work done for her and had to buy a new Elizabethan collar for her. So for a grand total of $5,265.44. So this month has been pretty expensive due to our move. Let's try to guesstimate how much it costs for us to live here for the whole past year. Now, starting in November, like I said, that was my 3-month video and it was a very rough estimate. I only put $900 down. It probably was a lot more than that, but I don't have the exact amounts, but I do have our budget from the time we did move here. I didn't break it all down in videos, but when I looked at the total, this is only off by a couple of $1,000, so it's not that bad. It's pretty accurate. For December, I had a better estimate. That was $2,099.93. January is $3,222.84. February was $3,063.06. March is $6,846.26. Now that's the month we bought our car. And that car was $4,000 out of that right there. And then in April, $4,347.62, and about $1,600 of that was to actually fix the car, among other things, I guess. In May, that was $3,805.30. That was some of our custom-made furniture we had, plus Willem got braces. June and July are more sort of the accurate amounts I expect to see going forward. June was $2,771.31, and July was $2,763.56. Now, like I said, August is expensive, $5,265.44. plus all the other costs as best as I can remember. Now, I'm going to talk about the plane tickets to El Salvador. That was $1,850 American. Our Airbnb was $1,500. Actually, it was supposed to be $1,200, but during the time we were there for 6 weeks, we got the electric bill, and it was kind of a little high, and the girl freaked out. So I ended up giving her half the money for the electric bill, so that was an extra $300. So it wasn't supposed to be as high, but it was. And for the pets, I believe, I didn't have it in here, but I think it was about $500 to bring the cats. I didn't have it in here, but we round up at the end, so we're fine. For the shipping container, like I said, that was $20,000. Paperwork and immigration. Now, this is like paperwork we got in Canada, and I don't remember all the prices. I'd have to go back through a bunch of records to find it. And then converting it to US, and then getting things apostilled, and our translation for our temporary residency and the temporary residency itself. I'm thinking it's about $1,800-ish for those, you know, give or take a little bit. We had to get our driver's license, you know, and other identification stuff for the car. So table and chairs, that's $450. 3 twin beds at $175 each was $525. 1 queen bed was $269. We got 2 of those gray sofa sets. They're $160 each, so $320 for those. Delivery on all that was $20. For the fridge, for our appliances, we got the refrigerator at $597, and the stove was $367. The deep freezer, I could not find the exact number. I think it's around $225, and the washing machine was around $800, something like that. We got some desks for the kids, and for us, that's 5 desks, $220 plus another $20 for delivery. We got desk chairs for the kids, which I totally do not recommend. They were awful. We already broke 2 of them, and the other one's literally on its last legs. They're $45 each. That's $135 altogether. My vanity I got for my bedroom is $260. We got 3 night tables. They're $40 each, so $120. For the grand total of $64,563.32. Now, like I said, let's just round that up because I know I missed some stuff. Let's just round that up to $67,000 roughly. And if you convert that to Canadian at whatever the dollar rate is, it's around $93,000 to have lived here for 1 year and basically start from scratch, right? Making a new home in a foreign country, you know, including bringing that $20,000 shipping container here, which you don't have to do that. We bought a car, we had to buy appliances and furniture, and of course there's 5 of us, so there was that many more extra beds and desks and stuff like that. My salary in Canada was about $115,000 Canadian per year, and we could barely survive. We already owned all the furniture and the appliances and the cars. This was just keep the lights on, keep our home heated and cooled, fuel for the cars, keeping us clothed and have food on the table. The stark difference here in living and the lifestyle itself are staggering. And if you moved here with 3 kids and 3 cats and didn't bring a shipping container, you could do what we did for $43,000 USD. Think about that. Can you live in the USA and buy furniture and a car and pay your rent and the food all for 5 people for $43,000 a year? If you did, you'd be doing really good, I think. Now, it isn't all sunshine and roses, okay? There were challenges that we faced. Obviously, we still have a language barrier, and we're working on it. I want to tell you about all the bad stuff that we went through during this first year, in no particular order, just what came to my mind. So within the first couple weeks of being here, I slipped on some algae and fell into a ditch where there was a broken beer bottle and my knee smashed down on it. That wasn't pleasant, but I survived. In fact, I've actually fallen 3 times since I've been to this country, considering there's no ice here, just slippery tile floors. And one time I threw my hip out, I fell so hard. But you know what? We survived. And my family and I actually had to go to the clinic 3 different times this year. Once was a horrible mosquito bite reaction I had. Annika had to go into the clinic for an allergic reaction she had to aloe. And Willem had a really bad cold with his ears all blocked up, and we had to go and get some antibiotics for the first time in his life here in El Salvador. It was hard to get the kids enrolled in public school. We had to get a bunch of paperwork from Canada, get it apostilled, get it sent here. And it was a bit pricey because of all the going back and forth. I didn't think to bring that before we came. We had to go to immigration like 3 times to get all the paperwork finalized due to some translation issues. Our car broke down and we had to get a tow, which was $80. We had a slew of plumbing problems at our first rental house, including the pressure tank breaking down twice. And there was a few days we had to go without any running water. We also had the roof leak there, and I had to get someone to fix it, and then I got reimbursed by the landlord. And Annika got bullied at school. We can't forget that. There was a video on that here. And we still have to sell our business in Canada, and we're still having to pay all those bills because it hasn't sold yet, which I don't even include here. right? I got to keep the lights on there and all that other stuff. Seeing so many stray animals on the streets in El Salvador can be heartbreaking. And then when you see people living in poverty and the conditions that some of them are living in, that really, really can hurt your heart. But you know what? There are many moments in this country that we will never forget. There are many more amazing things that we've experienced this past year that I wouldn't trade for a second. Starting with being able to celebrate the Salvadorian Independence Day last September. Seeing the amazing Christmas lights display in downtown San Salvador and Santa Tecla. Seeing Salvadorians skating on the outdoor rink in 26-degree weather at Christmas time. That was really cool. Spending Christmas and New Year's with our new friends and lighting fireworks. Enjoying many Salvadorian meals, picking bananas from a tree in our backyard, and teaching English to kids at my children's public school. Helping to build a new parking lot there. I hope the principal will soon get the balastre or gravel to cover, because they're just parking on the field right now. It's a lot of potholes and stuff from the rain, so that'll be done soon. And of course, seeing the highway go through so many changes along this past year, it's very interesting. I gotta say, it's changing all the time. Being able to go to a water park in January and being able to afford to go several times a year. Now that's something. Going to see some hot springs, going to Bitcoin farmers markets and meeting all kinds of other expats there, or making friends in our community, or giving some locals some employment opportunities, or going to my first private doctor's appointment like ever in my life, and seeing such amazing health care. Stay tuned for next week's video because that was way more than I've ever seen in Canada. One of our biggest positives here has been the kindness of the people. There's so many people that have offered to help us with so many things. We just never had that in Canada. And through all this, I have had you guys too. As a few of my videos went viral, and within a week I got my channel monetized last November, that's been amazing. And you've been able to see this journey with us this whole time. So reflecting on our journey, all those things make this past year so meaningful for us. But the biggest thing of all is that my children will now grow up in a country where our rights and freedoms are respected. My children will actually have a future here. The improvements that Bukele has made to this country made us not only want to come for a visit, but to stay for the rest of our lives. And all you can see in the news is Canada's decline and the horrible cost of living there. It's sad to see what used to be a great country just rotting away from the inside out. We had to leave Canada before Canada ruined our lives. And 1 year later, we're still here. And we're just getting started. And if you're wondering whether you should take a leap like this, maybe it's not about having a perfect plan. Maybe it's about trusting that your life can be more than just safe. It can be extraordinary. And we highly recommend coming on a scouting trip first, like we did, and leave the kids at home. So you have the time to see the real El Salvador and see if it's really right for you. El Salvador isn't for everybody, but it was right for us. And we cannot wait to see what the next year has in store for us. Gracias, El Salvador. From our family to yours. See you in the next video. If you stayed with me till the end, here are a few highlights of our year. Here we are on the plane. A long, stressful day. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Terrified? Exhausted?
Yeah.
Yeah, all those things. Here we are in El Salvador, starting our new lives. Our kids, cats, two are there. One's here. We just all got some stuff. I got, of course, iced coffee. All this time looking for hats. They've all been hanging out here. Oh, look at the train! It's a train! It's a smarty car. Grebo is terrified. So he has Grebo under his arm, and when he goes to walk through security, Grebo poops in the floor 4 times. 4 times he poops in the floor. Like, oh my word. It's funny now. It was not funny then.
Leftovers.
Okay, this is what's left of that truck accident earlier. Wowza. Wow. Oh, this is big. Oh, we got no kitchen? We're kitchenless.
De nuestra independencia patria. Disfrutemos con júbilo y con los acentos más vivos del patriotismo la conmemoración de nuestra independencia patria.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here it is. Our haul for today at Vidri's hardware store. 1 stressed out cat and 2 calm cats, right? You guys got the calm ones? After our adventure at Maxi Dispensa, I got a coffee at the cafe. And there they go again. I added the salsa de tomate and the cortado, and you eat it like this with your hands. You pick up pieces, break it apart, and just put it in your mouth like that. So if you want to know what it's like living in El Salvador during rainy season, this is it. And just before we left to go shopping, I checked and I had over 1,000 subscribers. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has just shown me the love and subscribing to my channel. So here I am outside the immigration office at Las Cascades Mall, picking up our temporary residence cards for El Salvador. We're now official. Well, I only have a handful of decorations, so until my daughter paints some that I bought her from the dollar store and the shipping container arrives, this is how it's going to look for now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear GJ. Happy birthday to you. It's the tricky part. At least. Whoa, 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 whoa. My kitchen is almost complete.
I will be careful.
Good. Don't drop it. Merry Christmas and Feliz Navidad, everyone. It's Pollo Campero. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, go around. Go around. Hi. So when you get off the bus,
We enter into the school.
you went through the big blue door, okay. Okay, what's that, Annika?
A flower.
Who gave you a flower?
My boyfriend.
Buying a car is an experience.
We got our driver's license.
I'm not driving.
This is me getting out of the car at the beach. My glasses are completely steamed up.
No besar a los amigos. Don't kiss. Okay? Nobody.
This is how we're spending Willem's day off / birthday. And this is our little space for the day. Muy bonita.
Must be.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, that one's got a load. We got a load in the other car, and Lawrence is here to help. There's lots of room there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh. This is what it looks like inside the house, with boxes and everything everywhere. We're in Stan's car because we're going to buy a van. Actually, we're going to buy the exact same van we had in Canada, just a little newer. So we bought a van.
Don't forget to hit the like button.